Now we've got this really cool, scale thing and this neat circle thing going on. And then we need to get some text in here. So we need to get this visual element to shrink back into a reasonable size here. So if we want both of them to do it at the same time, we can merge them. We call it pre-composing. So select one of the layers, hold shift down, and then select the other. Just make sure both of them are selected. And if you want this new pre-composition to go in your comp panel or your comp folder up here, up in your project panel, click on the word comp, and that's where it'll put it. Then come down back here to the timeline, right click, and choose pre-composition. It's going to let you name it, so let's call it logo and circle. And you can see it made a new composition here, and on the timeline, instead of 2 layers, it's just 1. Okay, so we are going to, you can see it looks like our animation ends at frame 20. So let's go to frame 20, and we're going to scale this. So the keyboard shortcut is S for scale. So hit S, and you can see it just opens it up. Start your keyframes by clicking on the little stopwatch. And then let's go to, I don't know, about frame 25. And we're going to scale this. You can just scrub it down here. I want you to go to 40, so I'm going to click on it, type in 40, and voila, it's ready to go. What are we going to do to slow that in and slow it out? We're going to add keyframes. No, we already have the keyframes. We're going to add easing, that's right. So another way to select both of these keyframes is to click the word scale. Don't click on the stopwatch, just click on the word. If you accidentally do click on the stopwatch, your keyframes disappear. I'm going to undo that, Control Z. So if you ever lose your keyframes, it's probably because you hit the stopwatch. Don't do it. Okay, with them both selected, I'm going to right click, keyframe assist, easy ease. The reason I can't do the keyboard shortcut of F9 is that's part of my recording software, so it doesn't let me. Alrighty, and we want to motion blur that because motion blur is cool. So on, boom. Now I think that's too fast. I want it to come on, stay big, and then let me see it for a little while. So let's have that, let's slide that down to around 1.5 seconds, somewhere in this range here. Let's watch that. So it comes on, holds there, and then comes down. That definitely looks better. So you can, at any time, adjust the timing. Okay, so zoink, zoink. Nice. Let's get the text in there. So let's grab the text tool and click up here. We're going to type in go and then the name of your mascot. I'm going to type in Wildcats. Now, why can't I see anything? I've got words up there. Well, I've got a white background and I'm typing white. So let's come over here to our fill color. And I'm going to choose, actually, you know what? Instead of choosing some color from the color picker here, I'm going to grab the eyedropper, come out here to my logo and suck up that red. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, so go and then Wildcats. Okay, go Wildcats. Actually, no, let's just do go. Go. There we go. Now that's kind of a funky font. I think I want to change the font to Stencil. I like that one. So Stencil kind of looks sportsy. And then let's scrub it up from 48 to, I don't know, let's say 200. Start 200. That looks good. Let's move it into position here. I want it to land right about there. And you can always click on the Align panel. And right now it's aligned to composition, so I can center it smack dab in the middle of my composition. And then you can add cool layer styles, just like in Photoshop. It's really easy. You just right click on your visual element, come here to layer styles, and you could add a, I don't know, let's try a stroke. How about a black stroke? I think that would look cool. Right now it's red. That's ugly. Woo, I zoomed out. So I'm just going to come back here and fit in window, and I'm going to add a drop shadow, and then I'm going to fix both of them. So I'm going to go here to drop shadow. So now I have two visual elements. What I wanted to show you down here on the timeline is that it added the stroke and the drop shadow right here inside that layer. So I'm going to come here to stroke, change my color. Here's my color to black. And the drop shadow, so I'll collapse that. And the drop shadow, maybe I'll make the distance a little bit. Where's distance? It's in there somewhere. There we go. I just needed to scrub down a little bit further away, just a little bit. And then maybe the spread a little, and maybe the opacity a little less. All right, so just kind of fine tune that. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do it, but I think that looks a little bit better. And at any time, you could just hit these little eyeballs, turn them off, and turn it back on. Yeah, I think that looks really good. Now, instead of having to do that whole process with the next set of letters and the next word, I'm just going to duplicate that layer. So let's select Go and hit Control or Command on a Mac, and then D for duplicate. So now it says Go to. And we're just going to grab the selection tool and move it down here. I'm not going to worry about it getting too close to the center because I'm just going to go zoink and center it. Let's double click on it to select it and type in the name of your mascot, Wildcats. And it looks like I don't have a center on my text, which is not a big deal. I can just come back here to align and center it. All right, so you can see that was really easy to get both of those lines of text on there.